To everyone, my name is Mohamad Adli bin Muhammad Jasmee. I'll be presenting about my final year project with the title of A Synthesis of Syngas Production from Municipal Solid Waste, which is a review on the current challenges and the potential development. My supervisor is Dr. Nabilah binti Zaini and my co-supervisor from PRSB, Puan Alia binti Khalid and Puan Hazratul Mumtaz binti Lahuri. This presentation will cover the introduction, literature review, research methodology, results and discussions, and conclusion of the research study. For the introductions, municipal solid waste are non-hazardous material which are discarded from many sources such as schools, residents, factories, and sewage. The main disposal sites for the municipal solid waste in Malaysia is landfill. Approximately more than 90% of municipal solid waste are disposed to landfill while the rest are being recycled and composted. The pie chart shown is the composition of municipal solid waste in various areas in Selangor. In general, throughout whole area in Malaysia, the main component of municipal solid waste is food waste. Statistics has shown from Solid Waste Corporation of Malaysia in 2015 that the food waste in Malaysia has reached 50,000 tons daily. Meanwhile, as for the energy sector in Malaysia, non-renewable fuels such as fossil fuel is still heavily relied on, and with the increase in demand of energy consumption, depletion of the energy source will be occur in the future. The demand to replace the primary resources in manufacturing a fossil fuel for production of energy has also increased. The bottom figure shows the overview of syngas production from municipal solid waste. Syngas is a combination of hydrogen, carbon monoxide, small quantities of carbon dioxide, and other traces of gas. Syngas can be produced from the waste materials that would otherwise need to be discarded to useful fuels. Gasification is a widely process that has been implemented for the production of syngas from solid waste. The objectives of this research were to determine the weight degradation of selected municipal solid waste to the increasing of temperature using thermogravimetric analyzer (TGA) and to evaluate the current challenges and potential development of syngas production derived from municipal solid waste as the feedstock. This research covered the analyzations of weight degradation profile over the increasing temperature from 25 degrees Celsius to 850 degrees Celsius of selected components which are food waste and paper waste for the sample. Then, the results from the pyrolysis process of the samples were further studied in terms of critical review on the current challenges and potential development of syngas production, which the feedstock is originated from the municipal solid waste. What shows here is the general step to produce syngas from the feedstock such as coal, natural gas, and biomass. The first step is the drying process of the sample, and the samples will undergo pyrolysis process at temperature range of 500 to 700 degrees Celsius. The gasification process occurred at very high temperature with the introductions of the gasification agents. The carbon char from the pyrolysis process will be converted into syngas with the reaction of carbon and the gasification agent used. The table shows the chemical equation based on different gasification agents. There are partial combustions, Bohr reactions that favor carbon monoxide gas yield, and the water gas shift reactions that favors the hydrogen gas yield. Research methodology of this study: before undergoing the TGA experiment, the samples will be prepared. Firstly, chicken waste mostly consists of chicken bone, which is CBW, and unused newspaper UPW were collected. Then, chicken bone waste and unused paper waste were dried in dryer at 60 degrees Celsius for 48 hours and 80 degrees Celsius for 24 hours respectively. Both samples were grinded into small particles and sieved at the size of 1 to 2 mm and labeled as the sample 1, which is composed of 100% of chicken bone waste, and sample 2 composed of 100% unused paper waste, and sample 3 the mix of chicken bone waste and unused paper waste at 50% each. For the research methodology, before undergoing the TGA experiment, the samples will be prepared. Firstly, chicken waste mostly consists of chicken bone CBW and unused newspaper UPW were collected. Then, chicken bone waste and unused paper waste were dried in dryer at 60 degrees Celsius for 48 hours and 80 degrees Celsius for 24 hours respectively. Both samples were grinded into small particles and saved at the size of 1 to 2 mm and labeled as Sample 1 composed of 100% chicken bone waste, Sample 2 composed of 100% unused paper waste, and Sample 3 the mix of chicken bone waste and unused paper waste at 50% each. As for the critical review, the current challenges and the potential development of syngas production, which the feedstock is originated from municipal solid waste based on the results obtained from TGA experiment, were developed. The graph shown in the slide is the weight degradation profile of the samples used in the TGA experiment. The decomposition of waste paper is attributed to the hemicellulose and cellulose of the paper, while the food waste mainly consists of carbohydrates and also protein. All the samples started to decompose at a temperature of above 200 degrees Celsius, and the degradations of the samples stopped at the temperature of 525 degrees Celsius. Generally, the amount of the volatile matter in biomass is high and in which enabling the combustion to occur at low temperatures. Typically, it has been presented by the thermogravimetric research of municipal solid waste components. The degradation of mass for food and woody waste started at 200 degrees Celsius. Protein, starch, and hemicellulose pyrolysis temperature interval are 220 to 500 degrees Celsius, 269 to 345 degrees Celsius, and 225 to 350 degrees Celsius respectively. From the TGA experiment of all the samples, sample 1, which consists of chicken bone waste, shows the highest residues formed after the pyrolysis process, which is at 40 weight%, followed by sample 2, 20 weight%, and sample 3, 19 weight% respectively. Based on the Bodart and water gas reactions, syngas can be produced by reacting of the carbon char with carbon dioxide and or steam, respectively. Technically, sample 1 has the potential to produce more yield of syngas when going through gasification process due to the high content of carbon char. So, moving on to the critical review in terms of current challenges and the potential development of syngas production, similar to the scenario in using food waste such as chicken bone waste, as the feedstock is continued to be discussed due to the high potential of high yield of syngas productions. For the critical review, which is based on the syngas production using food waste as the feedstock at large-scale process, for the current challenges, firstly, food waste may contain a very high moisture content, which led to the use of large amount of energy for the drying process before undergoing pyrolysis process and then gasification process to produce syngas. Next is the main component of syngas consists of hydrogen gas and carbon monoxide gas. Carbon monoxide is one of the most dangerous constituents, which can permeate into human blood system and combine with hemoglobin to stop oxygen absorption and distributions. High safety precautions will need to be taken when producing syngas at a large scale and long operations. After that, tar can be formed during gasification process, which can lead to a very crucial problem to syngas production's process plant. Tar that form can causes the production of syngas to be limited and also will block the fuel pipe, which then can lead to another serious problem where explosion is most likely to be occurred. As for the potential development for the syngas productions, the combinations of chicken bone waste and unused paper waste have resulted to the lower residues formed after the pyrolysis process. To maintain the production of the syngas production derived from food waste, a segregation system shall be employed for the mechanical system of the plant. Next is to implement a two-stage catalytic forming process to reduce the tar reforming. The first stage is use dolomite to reduce the concentration of tar to a certain level, and then the second stage employed transition metal-based catalyst bed for near completed removal of tar. The focus on this study is to evaluate organic waste from municipal solid waste as the potential feedstock for syngas productions. It is revealed that sample 1 is potentially to produce the highest yield of syngas through gasification process compared to the other samples due to the higher residue formed after the pyrolysis process. The current challenges shows that the use of food waste as the feedstock may causes large amount of energy to be consumed for the drying process due to the high moisture content and tar formation as byproduct of gasification process of biomass feedstock, which may create crucial problem during syngas productions. Ideally, segregation system can be implemented to avoid the combination of unnecessary items prior entering to the plant for further operations. The tar formation also can be reduced by implementing the two-stage catalytic reforming process. It is concluded that food waste such as chicken bone waste can be used as the feedstock where large amount of food waste has been produced daily. However, it is not cost-effective where it has high moisture content, and the technology that can be implemented to reduce tar formation has also a very high cost. The syngas production from municipal solid waste should be further studied to provide more solutions to utilize it at a large-scale process plant. Here is some of the reference that has been used for this research study. So we have come to the last part of the slide. Thank you.